Today, one of our inviolable rules comes into play that if you don't want to get shot by the cops, drop the gun. Hi friends, welcome to today's badge cam lesson here at Active Self-Protection. I'm your host, John Correa.
I'm your co-host, Mike Willover, and recently I mispronounced Weber. I said Weber, I was wrong, so today we looked it up. Today's video comes to us from Solon, Ohio.
Today's video is sponsored by Backstreet Surveillance, Active Self-Protection's trusted source for home and business surveillance. They offer free expert system design and quotes using their Backstreet Surveillance System Design Tool to help you build the perfect system for your application. They also offer nationwide professional installation, remote smartphone monitoring, and their revolutionary 360 4K camera to help you keep track of and protect that which you love. Check them out at the link in the description and thank them for bringing us today's video. Officer has contacted this minivan that he knows has been involved in a violent carjacking, I think a day or two previously. And so he's initiated a traffic stop and the guy is going to run and you're gonna see him. He gets up at real high speed. The officer's gonna chase him because again, carjacking at gunpoint. Guy's gonna wreck the car up here pretty quick. And once he does, we have audio from the dash cam as well as the badge cam. So let's listen in and hear how it goes.
Stop, crash down. Here's the gun, drop the gun. Crash down. Here's the gun! Drop the gun! Shots fired! We're running southbound, through yards. Running southbound, through yards.
Riley's on foot, southbound 3 yards. Slowing boy.
Drop the gun! Alright, he dropped the gun. Eastbound. Going to the old school. Hey, get down! Stop! Get down! Get down now! Lay down!
Copy.
Alright, give me the air. He dropped the gun. I have him down. He dropped the gun. Give me the air. Are you hit?
No, sir.
You're not injured?
No, sir.
All right, we're behind a yellow house. If you're on Arthur, we're behind a yellow house. Start EMS just in case. He's saying he's not hit, but start EMS just in case.
I copy yellow house.
Don't move.
127, you see him?
I have him.
103's out with him.
Don't move. Keep your arms out to your side.
We don't need lockdowns. Negative, man, dude.
I'll come around to you. I'll cuff.
I'm looking for a stolen vehicle. 127, did he toss that close by?
Yeah, it's gonna be in the backyard over here by us. All right. I gotta check to see if you're hit, okay? Any more weapons on you?
No, sir.
I'm gonna move you around here. It's gonna hurt a minute, but I gotta make sure you're not hit, okay? I'm just gonna cut his coat.
All right. I need a response from the girl or anything.
Stand by, I'll let
Stand by, I'll let you know.
What's that?
One guy?
Yeah. Guy's gonna be back. He's gonna be back here somewhere.
You got him?
Yeah, we got him. Thanks, Dale.
This miscreant was not hit by any of the officers' gunfire. Thankfully, nothing else was hit of any consequence either. He ended up, he's a juvenile, 16 years old. So I don't have any idea on what charges ended up getting filed against him because it's sealed in juvenile court. But he did go to jail that day, minus his nice little coat there. Thankfully, he didn't go adding any holes to his resume. Seems like 10% of the comments in the channel are about my hair, and now, for the next couple of months, you actually get some say in whether I keep all of these curls. You guys know I've just been growing this as a joke and as having some fun. But for August and September, we are gonna do a fundraiser for SWAT Ministries, which is an incredible organization that rescues underage girls from sex slavery, helps abused and abandoned foster and adoptive kids, and they need help building a school and building a community, building facilities on land that they've recently purchased in Chiang Rai, Thailand, and this is your opportunity to help them. We actually have 2 buckets over on the Active Self-Protection website, one that says, John, keep growing your hair, and one that says, cut that mop off. So if you're angry about this, you can do something about it by donating at the link in the description to the Cut It Off. And if you want to say, hey man, it's just hair, keep it, I think it looks good, donate over there. When we get to the ASP National Conference at the end of September, we will total up the total giving, give it over to SWAT Ministries, and whichever bucket has more dollars in it, we will do live here on YouTube, and we will do it in front of everybody. If it needs to get shaved, it will get shaved. So listen, if you're tired of the hair, here's a chance to do good, and you get a say in it. So hit the link in the description, be a part of helping abused and abandoned children, and tell me what's up with my hair. Mike, I know a lot of times that we kind of say, hey man, you really got to think about whether a pursuit like this is justified. But in this case, given the fact that the car was a violent carjacking victim and those things, I think this one is.
Yeah, and also, if you look, I mean, it's high speed for sure, but this isn't nearly as perilous as some of the other pursuits we've seen where we have, people driving on the wrong side of the freeway and doing all sorts of crazy stuff. He's just going way too fast, and I think the need for a pursuit here is pretty clear because odds are, now that he knows he's been spotted by the police, his next move is entirely likely going to be getting far enough ahead of the police that he could then stop and carjack somebody else and change cars. So we don't want that to happen. So I think the pursuit was entirely justified. Now, when it stops here, what is this officer presented with? Let me back up for a second. He got a little close to the side of the car. I don't know if he's trying to pin the car against the car it hit or trying to pin the door. I don't really know. I don't love the positioning, but whatever. That's how we ended up. And now the first thing he's presented with is this hooded figure now getting out of the car with a gun in his hand. And what is he going to do? And the bottom line is, for the same reason the pursuit was justified, continuing the pursuit and stopping this person is critical to the public safety, because what do we see behind him in the distance? School buses. So this is a really high stakes thing here. We got to get this guy contained and stopped however we can before he commits another violent crime.
I mean, clearly, we have enough clues here that this is a car that's wanted in a violent carjacking. Dude jumps out of the car with a gun with a stendo in his hand. Here's a clue. If you are a violent carjacker who is watching Active Self-Protection, leave the gun in the car if you don't want to get shot at, and if you don't want to get shot, because I think when the officer sees this, that man, I do think that officers should think about, I'm chasing a violent carjacker, there's a pretty high likelihood I'm about to get in a gunfight here, because when I get this guy pulled over, I have to assume he's willing to do me deadly harm in order to get away from me. So officers, when you're having that pursuit, make sure that you are using your combat breathing, slowing your roll, thinking about your marksmanship fundamentals, thinking about what you're gonna have to do, that if you get there, you've done a mental rep and you are prepared for that. And I think this officer really was prepared for that, because you heard him say, gun, gun, drop the gun. Now, let's think just a minute about this here, because I know some folks in the comment section are gonna say, oh, well, he's running away. Why would you shoot the guy when he's running away? Friends, Tennessee versus Garner is incredibly clear about this, that an officer can use deadly force to stop a fleeing felon, which we have here, he's in possession of a carjacked vehicle, only to the extent he can use deadly force, only when that in his, the totality of the circumstances, that what we see here is an imminent threat to, of death or great bodily harm to the officer or to the community. And I think it's abundantly clear here that this guy is currently, in this moment, a high likely threat of death or great bodily harm to the community, because this guy's going to go carjack somebody else.
Yeah, and I think you covered it all there, John. I don't have a lot to add to that. What I will say is I would have liked to have seen the officer maybe slow his roll a little bit. If he's going to decide to shoot at this person to prevent him from escaping and harming other people, let's make those shots count, because I think he shot 8 or so times and didn't hit him once. So, and the backstop's not great. I'm not going to give him too hard of a time here, but let's take a moment, pause, stand tall, get the shots off effectively if we're going to shoot. And I think, John, you freeze framed it here because you wanted to talk about what appears to be a very obvious issue with this freeze frame.
Yeah, you got to make sure if you're not shooting that your finger is high and on home base, right? Man, high and in register if you're not actively shooting. I also think, this is one of the reasons I like red dots. Like, I like a pistol mounted optic because it gives you so much more information. Your irons can kind of lie to you when you're running, like this and moving, that yeah, I'm going to hit the guy, but you're not going to be able to get away with that with the dot. And so you're going to see it's going to be all over the place, and you're going to know, nope, I can't hit this stuff. So I love what you said, Mike, that what we generally teach is shoot then move. And so if it's enough that you got to shoot this guy, okay, stand tall and shoot him, because I only know one guy who at a run can get hits on a man-sized target at 7 yards. His name's Gabe White. He's an incredible trainer. And none of the rest of us mortals can really do that up until, you're maybe a master or grandmaster level USPSA shooter. And that's a very high level of shooting in order to do that, and it takes a ton of training. I'd rather have him do that. Now, from this point forward, I really think, Mike, this cop is absolutely to be commended for, number one, his radio work, number two, because he, is incredibly good at seeing, oh, this guy dropped the gun, so now I don't have to shoot the guy in an imminent sense. And so I think he communicates excellently on the radio, communicates excellently with the perp, handles his business, and stays at good distance knowing he's at advantage. And I just really think from this point forward, this is like, A++ police work.
Yeah, concur. I want to reemphasize something you said. If you see him drop the gun, it really is incumbent on you to get on the radio. That is a good reason to use the radio. If you can get on the radio safely and tell the other officers, hey, he ditched the weapon. We had a recent video, I can't remember the circumstances, where, somebody ditched a gun, the officer saw or should have seen he ditched the gun and didn't let anybody know, and it didn't end well. In this case, not only did he communicate effectively on the radio, which is important because, yeah, we're chasing somebody on foot, I need to factor these other officers in to let them know where to go to get in his way, to set up a perimeter or whatever, and to communicate with the suspect, hey man, are you hit? And if the answer is no, well, then there's a 75% chance he's not hit. He could be hit and not know it. But at least we've tried to determine, hey, is this guy injured? And that is going to determine how fast or slow we move in and how many people we wait for, that sort of thing. So asking him, hey, are you hit? The guy says, no, I'm not hit. Okay, good. That means that we have a moment here to collect our thoughts, take a deep breath, and approach when it's appropriate.
Yeah, I also think, hilarious to me, how polite this young man suddenly got when he realized that, nope, I'm not getting away from this one. And then all of a sudden it's yes, sir, no, sir, and all those things. Okay, and actually, the funny part is from the officer's perspective, that kind of tells him a little bit of something. The guy has stopped, he's ditched the gun, he stopped running, he obeyed me and laid down like I talked to, and he's actually addressing me in respectful tones. Okay, now that's not a reason to get sloppy or complacent, but it does change the officer's approach. And I think he does just a really, really good job of this. And I love the fact that once he gets him into custody, he's clearly interested in protecting this young man's life. And what an admirable job that is. I love that he had his med kit on him too, because that meant his trauma shears were available to him to then get this guy's coat off, make sure that he doesn't, and he's looking at his back. Why? Because the guy was running away from him. And if I shot him, if I got him in the back. No question about that. Would have been totally justified if he'd hit him with a bullet. But now he's looking, is this guy okay? He's trying to preserve life. Mike, I really think that's commendable.
It's fantastic, John. Here's the thing. I was once 16. You were once 16. A 16-year-old brain is not fully developed. So this kid's out there doing really crazy, wacky criminal stuff that is very likely going to get him killed. The best outcome here is what happened is for him to get caught and detained and not injured and not killed so that he can become 17 and 18 and 25 and maybe with a little bit of luck and the system not failing him completely, he can go on to have a normal life. The person who got carjacked may not agree with that sentiment, but I know I've met and have interacted with a bunch of people who did a bunch of nonsense stuff during those years and had the right people in their lives, the right coaches, the right cop who stopped them, who gave a moment and talked to them about what the right and wrong moves are in life, all that sort of thing. And this cop clearly gives a crap. He's not doing this for the camera like we've seen in some previous videos where somebody thought, oh no, I messed up, let me do a big production. So the badge cam looks good. This cop genuinely cares. He wants to make sure this kid's okay because he recognizes this is a kid. This is not a fully formed adult. And so I think at the end of the day, this is, if this had to happen, the best possible outcome is they get this young man into custody and he lives another day to hopefully reconsider his life choices.